Hello there, and you're very welcome to this week's episode of the Arkham Avengers Fantasy Football Premier League podcast. My name is Eamon, and I'm joined by the host Hector and Captain Fantastical Mick, and we're going to be taking a look at our managers and the transfers that they have been doing all season to date in their bid to be crowned the champion of the league for 2021-22. Hey man, thank you very much for that introduction. Well, thank you. It was very nice to have an opportunity to do this, especially when you let Captain Mick do it last week. I actually thought you might ask me first. Well, look, Eamon, I didn't really give it much thought. Mick asked if he could do an intro. I said, why not? You then wondered why you didn't have it, so I've given you your intro. Hector, you'll probably want an intro next week. Well, you know, if you want me to do intro, I can do that. Okay. Anyway, nice to see you all, lad. Oh, it's very nice to be back again there. Game week 23, of course, hasn't finished. This is the game week that keeps going on and on. It's going to finish on Saturday, the 5th of February, when Burnley take on Watford. And the transfer season has finished now. The 31st of January has come and gone. I wonder, lads, what do we make of the transfers? Not only in the Premier League, and we might talk about that shortly. What about the transfers our managers have been doing? Say from the start of the season, well, they put their team together for game week 1. But from game week 2 onwards, right up to game week 23, they've had an opportunity to make transfers. Have we any thoughts about how they've gone about this? Well, I think that for a start, transfers are intricate. They are not black and white. Sometimes they will work. Sometimes they don't work. And there's a certain amount of skill to transfers. What do you mean now, Eamon? Skill? Well, I mean, sometimes you'll have a look at a player and you'll think, he's the guy that I want. He's doing really well. You transfer him in and suddenly he doesn't perform. And it works the other way around. You can put a guy out and suddenly he's performing well. And I'm sure many of our managers and our listeners here will know and feel this and say, I know what Eamon's talking about. I think that when it comes to your transfers, you need transfers. Well, I don't think anybody's arguing about that, Eamon. I know. Look, I'm making my point. Okay, Eamon, okay. We should get on with the point, you know. Don't you start now. Our program's just started. I'm trying to make a point.
Oh, we should get on with it, Eamon, you know. You've been going on there for the last 3 minutes about a transfer and we haven't heard a thing.
Okay, listen. Before I was so rudely interrupted, you have your transfers that are going to pay off and your transfers that aren't going to pay off. What you need to do is balance the transfers. Now, when you say balance the transfers, Eamon, where are you going with this? How do you balance the transfers? You balance the transfers insofar that you're going to have your team. Some players will get injured. Some players will be international duties. Some will get suspended. And then there's the cohort who are not performing. These are the players that should be doing better but aren't. Those are the players you need to identify and say, okay, I need them out. Well, that's very easy enough to do. I mean, there's some right here. I think some of our managers in the league could probably say, I could get rid of most of the gang here. What about getting the players in, Eamon? This is what we want to know. Yeah, you have to say who's on form, the amount of minutes that they're playing, the amount of assists that they have. Their creativity comes into play here. Now, at this time of the season, you need players who are going to be creative and are going to do the right stuff. If they're outfield, if they're midfielders or defenders, they need to be creative, they need to be playing, and they need to be assisting. Lads, would you agree with Eamon there? I think, yeah, I would agree with Eamon on what comes there, you know. And sometimes, you know, a player, he may not be so creative sometimes, but he might be effective on the pitch, you know, the passing, the minutes played. I think sometimes you need to have a look and think, he just player a big name, me no big name. And I think we see this season, the big name players are not really doing it. I think perhaps maybe, you know, go for the average guy. He get you the points a week in, week out. Mick, would you agree with Eamon and Hector there?
Well, I think both of them have made valid points. I think sometimes when it comes to the transfer, I agree with Eamon. I don't think you should have too many, but you need to have a few transfers. And I think that's in my wisdom here. Sometimes, if the transfer doesn't work out, get him out, transfer him out, that's it. Move him out. Don't keep him in just because you transferred him in. And I also think that if you're transferring a player in, you need to give him 2 or 3 game weeks.
Yeah, that would be right. Yeah, you would be right giving him a couple, you know, give him a chance. And don't transfer him in today and say, he's right, this is the game week over, he didn't do anything for me, he's out the window. I'd give him, 3, I might give him 4, depends.
Well, depends on what he's doing. If he's only getting a point a match, probably say 3 stacks and you're out.
Very well. Okay, well, that's interesting to hear. Now, I think what we want to do is take a look at the managers in the Arkham Avengers Fantasy Football League. Take a look at what transfers they have been doing. Eamon, Hector and Mick, you've had a look at this table.
That's right, I've had a look at it. Quite a surprising table, so it is.
It certainly is. When we looked at it, we didn't believe what we saw with some of the transfers. Sadly, it didn't. I actually was stunned when I saw some of this. I think Hector was mute. No, I never mute. I just was quiet at the time. Okay, well, we'll have a look. We'll have a look at the managers as they sit in the table at the moment. So, sorry, KDB. They're first. They're the top spot, leading all of the way. So far in this season, they've had 34 transfers. Eamon, I'm going to start with you first. Did you think this manager would have that many? I didn't think so. I was actually flabbergasted when I saw this. And I have to say, when I looked at the traffic of players being transferred, I was a little bit taken aback. I'll use you an example. Like, he wanted Livramento in game week 3 and decided, no, I don't want him. He put him in and out the same day. We just have to say, you have to watch the guys that you're bringing in and out. But then we go to like a Ronaldo. Ronaldo came in game week 4. He was put out then in game week 10. And suddenly the manager thought, hold on, I'll bring him back in for game week 16. And lo and behold, he's out again for game week 17. Now, I know players can get injured and that, but that's just repetitive stuff. And then when you look at the cost of those transfers, there's a minus 64 point hit there. Yeah, it's a big hit, isn't it, Eamon? It's a shocking hit.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I just thought, oh my gosh. Somebody's added this up wrong.
Not at all, no, we haven't. Now, minus 64 points lost. They do add up.
They certainly do. As I said, I was just completely shocked.
Now, they do still have their free hit, their triple captain, and their bench boost. If you were this manager going forward, would you be doing so many more transfers? I don't think so. I think you would have to say, stole horses, stole donkeys, stole goats. What? Yeah, stole everything. Only make transfer when you need to make transfer. Don't be making transfer willy-nilly and stuff like that. The minus 8 points, they all start to add up. There's a minus 12 in there as well, so that's really putting it in amongst the mix there. We then move down to the Raglan Road, who are currently in second place. They've had 21 transfers. Hector, do you want to talk to us about this? Well, yeah, again, a bit like what Eamon was saying. They brought the Antonio in game week 3, and you would think, yippee, he's flying. Then they put him out on game week 5. He doesn't appear until game week 20. And then he's in, yippee, back in the squad. And they turn around and they kick him out game week 23. Make no sense to me. I would not be putting him in the second time. He's not doing the business for you in the first place. Of course, they have only lost minus 12 points. They have been very wise with their transfers. Indeed they have, 21 transfers and they've lost 12 points. It isn't bad going. Eamon, is it? No, it's not for a new manager. It's not. It's certainly, put Sarri KDB to shame. They still have their triple captain and bench boost remaining there. Possibly they might have a free hit, I'm not sure. Their transfer tactics are wise. Then we have a look at third place. Toboggers 6. They have 25 transfers. Mick, I'll pass this one over to you.
Well, look, as the lads were saying there, I had a look at the players that they were bringing in and out. One of the guys there, Ings, he was brought in and then he was shipped out there in game week 4. Then he was brought back in again in game week 9. You'd think, happy days, I'm in the squad. And then he was booted out again in game week 11. And there's another guy here as well, Jota. He was brought in game week 14. Whacked out on game week 16. Then lo and behold, he turned around and brought him back in a game week 18. That doesn't make any sense. Like, within 4 game matches, he's in, out, in, like.
It's a bit like the huggy cookie sort. It's shake it all about. Yeah, and he's lost 20 points now with all of these transfers. There's a wild card sitting there though. Should be a triple captain, bench boost, and a free hit remaining. Like, he has 4 more transfers than Raglan, but has lost 8 more points. Yeah, not as shrewd and not as wise as Raglan. Should take a leaf out of Raglan's book. Very well. Okay, then to fourth place is Arkham Avengers. Arkham have 33 transfers. Over to you, Eamon. Well, this is the spoofer. I'm surprised that the spoofer hasn't more transfers in there. If any guy was to have transfers so high, this is our guy. And look, again, they select players who they transfer in and out. Like Ronaldo came in game week 4. He lasted until game week 8, and I think there was a free hit used there, and then game week 9 he was out. However, the spoofer then in his wisdom decided to bring the Ronaldo back. Game week 22, and then he must have decided, I don't like the look of his football boots or whatever. And he put him out in game week 23. So he brought him in one game week and he puts him out the next. And there's another punter in this list here. It's Bernardo. He came in game week 13. He was put out in game week 18. He brought him back the next week for game week 19 and put him back out again in game week 21. That's how the transfer tactic is nonsensical. But this is the spoofer. This manager has lost 60 points. And look, they've got off lights there, so they have. They still have the triple captain and their bench boost and a free hit left over there. So all is not lost. Well, look, this is the spoofer. All is not won either. So, again, not great. I'm sorry that KGB is nearly in the same pot as this guy. Like this, nobody should be aligned with this guy. Okay, now we move down to Blightsome Squad, who are currently in 5th place. They have 28 transfers. Hector. Yeah, again, having a look at the players they brought in. Antonio was brought in game week 16. He was put out in 19. Brought back in again in 20 and back out in 23. Like, why not you leave him there? He want to do his business and that's it. I even say, it don't make no sense. Bring in one guy 1 week and bring him out and bring him in. No, not good. And they've lost 32 points as a result of their transfers. Now, they have a wild card, a free hit, bench boost and a triple captain sitting there. At least they'll be able to do something going forward. 6th place then is Legion 11. 24 transfers, Mick. What do we think about this?
I had a look at the lads there to see what sort of players they're bringing in and out. One guy that stuck out was the Sonny Son. He came in game week 8 and he was put out game week 8, so he mustn't have settled on him and thought, I don't want him in. And he was gone again then for game week 12. Game week 15, he was back in again. Game week 12, and he was put out. Game week 15, game week 19, he decided I'll have him back in, and then game week 22, so he said,
well, I mean, he was injured, so you can't hold that against the manager, can you? No, I wouldn't hold that against the manager. No, Mick, you'd have to say that has to be a transfer.
That's all right, yeah, but I'm just shocked, and he wasn't injured beforehand,
And they've lost 24 points with 24 transfers. Down to 7th place then, and I might add that Legion have a free hit remaining. Now, as I said, down to 7th place, ain't got a clue. 9 transfers. Eamon. Yes, 9 transfers. They haven't lost any points, nor have they been bringing the same player in and out several times. And they still have a wild card, free hit, and a triple captain. They've been shrewd with their transfers. They probably could do with an extra few transfers, which they might do once the season resumes, yeah. 8th place then is Lafayette Lions, who have 28 transfers. Now, Hector, you wanted to talk about this. Yeah, I look at the team again. Just have a look at the players. A bit like, Blightsome. They brought in Antonio game week 4. They put him out. Game week 5. He was then brought back in game week 6 and left in there. And then he was put out in game week 15. And then he was brought back in game week 21. Like, why he put out the player in game week 5 and then bring him back game week 6? No, make no sense to me. Make no sense. The other player is also Jaha. Game week 5 he brought in. Game week 9 he go out. Game week 10 he back in. Game week 21 he out. Game week 22 in. That's just the nonsense. They brought Jota, put him out in game week 9, and they brought him back in game week 10. Yeah, that's right. And then they put him out in game week 21 and brought him back in game week 10. Like, that's just mad stuff. They've lost 40 points on the transfers. Wow, that's a lot. Like, did you see, Blightsome had 28. Blightsome have 28 transfers also. Blightsome lost 32 points. And Lafayette have lost 40. Mad stuff. Now, they do have a free hit, triple captain bench boost remaining. So they might have learned something from the first period of all these matches. In 9th place then we look at Mighty Defenders, 22 transfers. Mick, over to you on this one.
Well, they've not been the worst here. I think the only guy that they've been shipping in and out has been Saka. Came in for game week 5. He lasted until game week 19, and then for some reason, he was shipped out, but then he was brought in, and then he was back out again in game week 20.
So hold on a second now, you were confusing me there. So you're saying that Saka went out, was it, in game week 5?
Yes, that's right. Out in 5, in in 19, and out again on 20.
Okay. And they've lost 12 points, and they also have a free hit, triple captain, and a bench boost remaining. 10th place currently is Can We Win Again? And they've had 22 transfers now. Eamon, off you go with this one. Well, again, probably not a serial repetitive player coming in and out, but The one guy who features is the Lock. Game week 19 he was brought in, and game week 22 he was out. It looked like he was going out, and I think there was probably a wild card being played, and he was brought back in again. So the manager was undecided I want to keep him in there. Okay. And they've lost 16 points. They still should have a free hit. We expect a triple captain and a bench boost remaining. In 11th place then is Maximum Effort with 19 transfers. Hector, a bit of movement here? Well, it is with the guy, the Bernardo. He brought him in game week 9. He put him out in game week 15 and bring him back in game week 19. Nothing is really going on too much there. Yeah, he's lost 12 points there. He still has the wild card, and we expect a triple captain, bench boost and a free hit remaining there. Then we come to 12th place, El Loco John. No transfers. Mick, an easy one for you here.
Well, this is an easy one. I'm not quite sure why there's no transfers in here. This guy not playing football with us. He's not a manager.
We don't know. We're waiting for him to get in contact with us. Still has his wild card, triple captain, bench boost, free hit all remaining. Yes, well, I think we discussed this manager before, that they've gone off on safari leave. In 13th place then is Rosie Rovers, and they don't have any transfer either. Eamon? Yes, the manager, that's a bit like the Scarlet Pimpernel, doesn't turn up. Again, not quite sure. They've gone the same route as El Loco John. They had the wild card, triple captain, bench boost and a free hit remaining. 14th place then is Water Beauty 99. They had 21 transfers. Hector, what about this manager? When I have a look there, they might have had 21 transfers, but they are no repetitive players. But they've lost 20 points. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 20 points. They have the wild card, free hit, bench boost and triple captain remaining. Finally then, 15th place, Bamford Rejects. Mick, 2 transfers. Yes, they had 2 transfers. Sorry, I was talking to Mick there, Eamon. Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me. No. Eamon, stay with us. Mick.
It's alright, I couldn't get a chance to talk here. He was coming in my way.
Look, sorry, I just had a minor slip there.
Well, don't ever slip when I never slip when you're talking, so can you not slip when I'm talking?
All right. Anyway, Mick, Bamford Rejects, 2 transfers.
That's right, yeah, they played a wild card in game week 19. No repetitive players there, and look, they're not losing any points. Happy days to them.
They still have the wild card, triple captain, bench boost and free hit remaining. Before we leave that there, when you look at a Loco John, no transfers. Rosie Rovers, no transfers. Water Beauty 99 have had 21 transfers, and they're in 14th place. Does this raise questions about the manager of Water Beauty 99 and what they're actually doing here? Certainly that has to flag that there is an issue. Well, look, I do believe this is a problem for this manager. Hector, are you all right there? Sorry, I dropped my beer. Okay. Look, that's okay. Sorry, Eamon, do continue. It certainly is the night for interruptions.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you.
Okay. Eamon, do continue. Yes, it does raise a question about the quality of the transfers, what the players are not doing. The manager is bringing in these guys. He's responsible for this. He's selecting these players. They're not performing. He's losing points. And it just shows a manager at sea. They're floundering. And I think somebody needs to throw them a lifebuoy and help them back into shore. Okay. Right, we leave it at that there. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the show, Premier League transfers closed at the end of January. You lads have had a chance to look at the transfers in as well as out, but we're more interested in the transfers that have come into the Premier League. If there's any player that takes your fancy, and Hector, I'll start off with you there. Who's catching your eye of a player that's been transferred in? Well, I think, for me, the interesting transfer here has to be Christian Eriksen. He moved to Brentford. He'd be a major plus with the set pieces. He was always very good at Spurs. And I wouldn't rule him out. If I were a manager in the Arkham Avengers League, I would be looking to get this guy in. He will have an impact. He is going to bring experience and positivity to the team.
I think Hector's right. I do think Hector's right. I like him. He's always been a good player. It's nice to see him back, playing football.
Okay. Any player you might think might have potential?
Well, for me, I think it's going to be Dele Alli.
Really? You think so? How did you work this out?
Well, I think his move from Spurs to Everton, he's not really got a chance to play. He's not getting game time at Spurs. And I think this move to Everton is going to give him that impetus to get going. And I think when he's going to give Everton, they need something in midfield. I mean, I don't raise Gray, and I think this is the guy to slot in there. And we could be seeing him when Everton are playing Newcastle on the 8th of February, and that's going to be a match I like to see.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Eamon, we'll come to yourself here at the moment. Anybody there on your radar? Well, I have to say, I think somebody who's going to be on target is Matt Tachette. Okay. I think his move to Newcastle on loan from Villa was very interesting, and I think he can be a real winner. I think, he's going to be a left back. He should slot naturally into the team without any difficulty and get up and running, and I think he's going to be a major bonus there too. All right, okay. And would there be anybody else, lads? Well, for me, I think, there is a new Bruno on the market. Oh, yes. Who's this now? I think, Bruno Guimaraes. All right, okay. He's moved from Lyon to Newcastle, and he's going to shake things up a lot there. And he a defensive midfielder. He's going to be a handful. Oh, very good, okay. And lads, would there be any notable mentions? If you're any of the managers listening here, and you're thinking, oh, right, okay, who could I bring in here? Who would you think?
Well, I have to say, Chiquino, his move to Wolves from Estoril. I like this guy, and I think he's going to be a winner. He's going to bring pace to that team. He's going to be a real added bonus, and that's the guy I'd have my eye on him.
Eamon? Well, I think probably Donny van der Beek he's gone on loan from Man U to Everton. He's got a lot of potential that hasn't been tapped into. He hasn't had the game time at Man United for whatever reason. I think he isn't a poor player. I think that there are other players there who are a little bit shaky, but look, that's the decision of the manager. And I think he's going to be a real asset to Everton. He's going to give them something there. So you could have, would you be possibly thinking of Dele Alli and Van de Beek? Midfielder for Everton? Quite possibly. And Dele Alli likes to get forward. Hector, anybody on your radar? Well, I think Rodrigo Bentancur. He's a midfielder, and now he moved from to Spurs for Juventus. He's on World Cup duty. We have not going to see him yet. He certainly has form, he has peace, and he has the vision, and I do think he's going to bring a lot to Spurs. That's it. Anybody else? Well, I'd like to point out there's one guy, and I think he's going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to see him. This is Wout Weghorst. Who is this guy? He's a striker, and he's moved from Wolfsburg to Burnley. He's 29. He's in the prime of his football career, but he's 6'6", and he has a great attitude to football. And I think, with Chris Wood gone from Burnley, this guy is going to slot into this position, and he's going to be a real handful. He's going to get goals. He's an area threat, and I think we've been shy on decent strikers. For me, this is a guy here. Well, that's very interesting. I think we can leave it at that. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you also. It's very nice to be here.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Nice to be back here. It's nice to chat with you and the lads there, and chat out there to our listeners. Hope they're all keeping well.
Very well. Okay. Well, look, we'll wrap it up with that there. No shout outs from anybody.
No shout outs from me.
No, nothing. I just say hello to all our listeners and hope they're well, and new month, keep well, keep good. Yeah, no, I have no shout outs. I'm always perfectly fine. Very good. Well, listeners, hope that you have enjoyed the show, enjoyed the banter with us, and that you've come away, if you're a manager of a fantasy football team, with some ideas for a few replacement players. We're everywhere in the world. Have a good day, have a good evening, a good night, a good morning. Don't forget to listen to us and tell your friends to subscribe, and we'll be back next week. Until then, take care. Slán.